editing, doing all these kinds of things is not easy at all. So I really, 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 really thank you guys. So today I would like to share with you a personal story, and basically because a lot of you keep coming to my inbox and you tell me of your personal challenges, and you want to actually move. You want to move from your countries and you want to come to Dubai, or you want to move from where you are and actually settle in Dubai. I know that a lot of you that talk to me about moving to Dubai is because you know that I lived in Uganda, I worked in Uganda, and so I moved to Dubai and I'm currently working, and you know, you're always seeing me smiling, you're always seeing me happy. But one of the things that I usually ask people is, why do you want to move? You know, because we have grown up in these areas, you've created a lifestyle around your country, around your area. So why is it that you want to move? Sometimes moving is not for everybody. Sometimes the process that one goes through is not the same, or may not be as easy as for another person, like for my case. So for those that don't know me, my name is Untitled Chapter. If it's your first time watching this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, do all those things that will take this video to another level, or even the YouTube channel. Actually, one of the reasons that made me start my YouTube channel is because I left my job, and so I felt I needed to be in the public eye. I needed to do more work that, you know, was going to relate to the kind of work that I was doing. I was working in the media industry for a very long time, and so I related a lot with artists, with musicians, with actors and actresses. These were literally my friends, because let's take an example of Buzz Teenage Awards, which everybody knows about. If an artist was performing on stage, I would be the one to call them on stage as the MC, and then, you know, the artist performs. At the end of the day, probably this artist has to be dropped. Maybe it would be in the same car, and you know, you end up becoming friends, and you know, going to the same communities, going to the same events. So you know, in that way or another, you end up becoming friends. Now I felt that I needed to stay in a circle whereby I was giving out content and associating with people the way that I was, just like on TV. I have said this before and I'll say it again. I give so much appreciation to my producer, the cameraman, the editor, the script writers, everybody that I have ever worked with, because content creating is not easy. I may be very affluent, I might be very eloquent, I might be very outspoken, but when it comes to creating a brand and an image, you will always need that person that is going to, you know, package you very well in order for the public to meet you already, you know, polished. And so sitting down and writing these scripts and creating my content, and you know, I didn't manage to bring it to what I wanted it to be, and so I felt I should stop until I decide to do that, until I can have a team with me to do it. Then I was ready and good to go. So I give thanks to everybody out there, because currently I am recording using my phone and a tripod, and I'm seated in office. As you can see, I decided to shoot from here because settling up the lights in my home, editing this work, putting out the content was so much work, and I feel that at this point I have more work to do than, you know, posting out a video or looking for content and all that. But shout outs to all the content creators. I really appreciate the work that you do, because when I sit and watch what you guys do, I always nod my head like, wow, there is a lot of effort and time that has been put into this. So I really, really, really want to thank you. So anyway, I got into YouTube, and then I started, you know, shooting out on those small videos and all, but it was very challenging, so challenging. I can tell you, I can't even begin to explain. You cannot comprehend, I tell you. So so many people of you come to me and tell me, you know what, Clay, I want to leave my country, I actually want to come to Dubai itself, I want to work there, I want to get a job and all. And I tell myself again, like I mentioned, I ask myself, why do you want to live where you have been? Look, I will tell you something. Everyone that you're seeing on social media that is in Poland, Netherlands, I don't know where, they are pointing or they are putting out for you an image that they definitely want you to see. Yeah, I had to put that so that it can give us some, you know, color and all. Anyway, so everybody is painting what they actually want you to see. Sometimes people are working abroad and you don't know their jobs. Sometimes you don't know the challenges that they're facing. Most times you don't even know how much they are earning. But of course, somebody will post a good picture and you think that everything is okay. When I came to Dubai, luckily, I was staying with a friend who invited me. You know, so much had happened back home and I needed a breather. I needed to clear out my mind and all that. So she actually wrote to me and said, look here, why don't you come to Dubai? Why don't you come and visit me and let's be here? So I was up for the idea. I said, okay, let me come. So I came to Dubai and I love the city. It was so beautiful, and she had a really good job. She was working in the office, but then her shift started at about 10 and she came back at about 5, and I love that. I felt, oh my God, this is such a beautiful city. And I remember I kept saying, I am not going back home. This place is so beautiful. Oh my God, what am I doing? You know, I need to live here. I need to stay here and all. So she actually sat me down and said, you know what? You know you can actually work here. I was in shock. Really? How easy is it to get a job and all? You know, luckily some of you have heard of so many stories about people living in Dubai, how people treat them, maybe badly or in a good way and all that. But you see, because I was so occupied with my job, I was not looking for a job. I was always comfortable. I mean, I started working at a really young age. So I never ever looked into jobs. I can be honest with you. I have never applied for a job, never in my entire time. So this was my first time to actually, you know, look for a job or before I go there. So I tell this friend of mine, how are we going to get a job? She tells me, first of all, I need your CV. I was like, what? CV? Okay, I know I last studied how to do a curriculum vitae, but I mean, where do I start from? So anyway, she tells me it's fine when I go back to work tomorrow. Trust me, I was blessed. This was my time and this is what happened. So I asked her, how is this going to happen? So she said, pretty simple. What we're going to do, when I go back to work tomorrow, I'll draft out a visa for you, rather a CV for you. And so when I came to Dubai, this friend of mine actually knew people who, you know, who would process visas. So she processed for me a visa and I paid my flight, and you know, I came to visit her. So anyway, this friend of mine tells me you can actually work in Dubai. I was like, oh really? Yeah. So she made for me the CV, and when she did make the CV, so she told me, you know, now all you have to do is start to apply. I tell you, I was so lazy. I was so lazy to apply. I didn't feel like, you know, I could go into a walk-in. A walk-in is whereby you just walk into the job. There's probably an opening. You walk into that area, start talking about yourself, and you know, they can see if you're fit during that interview to have the job or not. So anyway, my visa was very short at that moment, so I went back home. So when I went back home, I started telling a few people, like, you know what, I'm actually thinking of going to Dubai and working there. Everyone was like, what? No, why would you want to go to Dubai of all places? You'll never make it. Some of my siblings told me that. Some of my friends told me that. Some of the people I work with told me that, because, you know, I'm a very open-minded person, and I'm quite outspoken. So I used to share with a few people and tell them, you know what, this is what I'm thinking. I actually want to go to this country and all. Everybody else, I can tell you, literally everyone was against me moving to Dubai. But as you know, I keep telling you about my mother. She is so close to me, so I told her about it. I was like, you know what, I want to go and work in Dubai. My mom said, yeah, you can work anywhere because you're tough, you can fit in any environment, you can fit in any situation, you are very smart. Anywhere you go in the world, anywhere, you'll always make it. I feel like that was the day I got my blessing. I feel like that was the day. This is why it's actually very important for at least one person, because you do not know what's going to happen tomorrow, but it is important for at least somebody to believe in someone. It is important for you as well to believe in yourself. If everybody says you cannot do it, You should believe in yourself and know that I can do it. And the moment you believe in yourself, please don't let yourself down. If you tell yourself, I am going to do this, I felt like that was cutting my head. So if you tell yourself that I am going to wake up in the morning at 6, I am going to work out, I am going to eat healthy, don't disappoint yourself. Do it. Amongst everybody else that loves you, you should love yourself more. You love yourself more. So go out of your way to do that exactly for yourself that you need to do. Yeah? Okay, so fast forward. So now I officially plan plan in my head, have a conversation with myself and say, you know what, we are going to Dubai, we are going to work in Dubai, and we're going to find a job, and etc and etc and etc. So I'll tell you what, this friend of mine got me a visa, and then obviously I paid for my flight. I also paid for the visa, but okay, she helped me in the process of getting it and everything. So I paid for my flight, rather I booked for my flight, and then the day when I was leaving, I told nobody. This is not a habit that has just started with me. I can guarantee you there are so many things right now that I'm thinking or I'm doing that no one knows about. You know, growing up, I used to see my mom do things without even telling anyone, and at the end of the day, she would bring you to her grand reveal. She would say, I want to show you all something, with my siblings and I, and she would take us somewhere and show us whatever she has done, and we would be shocked, like, how, when, where, how did you do this? And for me, I felt like that was actually the best way to do things, because so many times when you tell people your plans on what you want to do, it's not because you're being secretive, but you also give yourself room for failure, room for learning. I know failure sounds harsh, but it's a fact. Sometimes you may try at something, but honestly, you will fail. Sometimes you may try out at something and it goes just fine. Most things need trial and error. Most things need learning. Most things need correcting. Most things need research. And you cannot have a peace of mind to do all those things with all these people around. Just in case you're wondering what I'm holding in my hands, this is my Sephora lip gloss that I'm wearing. It is amazing. It is amazing. It is amazing. Amazing lip gloss. Amazing. So yeah, so if you want to do anything, I will tell you, do not tell anyone about it. Just wake up in the morning, do. So I woke up in the morning, I only got my handbag and left to the airport. So when I come to the check-in point, you know, I was very famous, I should say. And so by the time I go to the airport, everyone was like, hey Clay, how are you, blah blah blah. Oh, where are you going to Dubai? Where's your luggage? I'm like, I don't have no luggage. Oh wow, you're traveling, like, you know. So then yes, I didn't have anything. I left my home with nothing, with only a handbag in my hand, with my passport, of course a bit of money, and my card, my ATM card, and that was it. I moved, I came and lived with my friend, and so now I had settled my mind and ready to look for a job. So how did I start and how did it go? Now my friend had already made for me a visa, a CV, like I already told you. She made my CV, and so she told me the first thing that we are going to do is edit this CV. I want you to tell me what you are looking for, what you want to do, etc. So I told her, look here, what I want to do is something that I have been doing. I don't want to start up a new job because I was very familiar with what I was doing and I loved it. I said, if I can present, if I can do a radio show, if I can do a talk show, if I can MC at parties, if I can, you know, basically it was all around events. So I will tell you something that I believe God did for me, especially for me. The Bible, I don't know if I have so many non-Christians here, but if you believe in something so deeply, then you will know that this was in my favor. The Bible says that God will do something. He will even put up a bridge just for you to walk. God will put on God will bring somebody to build a building so strong and so high that you cannot build yourself, just for you to live in that particular place and receive your miracle. So anyway, there was the place where I was working at, my place of work where I got the job, started that year. And so they were hiring all kinds of people, from chefs to presenters, we were called associates, to maintenance team, to cleaners. Basically, they had just started, so they were hiring everybody. And I believe this was just for me, because guess what, there had been so many different places that were like the place where I used to work at. I don't want to mention the area, I don't want to mention names, I don't want to, you know, when you're making such videos, you don't know where they will land. You know, you could have a slip of a tongue in something, and you know, for safety measures, let's not mention names here. So anyway, the place where I was working had just started out a new construction. Imagine, they had just built that site, they had just started recruiting, they had just started branding the uniform and everything. So generally, we were the pioneers. So anyway, she tells me, you know, I need us to do as very many walk-in interviews as we can. A walk-in interview is whereby they announce an interview that is going to be happening in a certain venue, and all you have to do is walk in and do your interview. But it's very important for you to carry along your CV. It's very important for you to look good, dress good, have a good mood, be very eloquent and informed, obviously. So anyway, she tells me we need to do as many walk-ins as possible, and I checked online. There are 3 walk-ins that you can do. I tell you what, very many people all over the world move to Dubai specifically to look for jobs, and nobody should ever tell you that there are no walk-ins or no job interviews that are happening right now. New ventures are always happening in Dubai because it is a place of possibilities, and so a lot of people move into this country in order to look for work. A lot of people move into this country in order to create work. With us, we also do company setup and formation in Dubai, and you can imagine, ever since I joined Get Quick International, people have been setting up companies every month, every year. So of course, these people need staff. So no one should ever tell you that no, you cannot get a job in Dubai. You will always find jobs. Anyway, so my friend tells me we need to go to as many walk-ins as possible, and I checked. There are so many interviews. In fact, there's this interview and this interview and the next interview. You need to go for it. And tell you what, she told me the first interview was at 8 a.m. You guys, 8 a.m. and here we are talking like at 3 a.m. We are conversing and laughing and all. But anyway, that was okay, because you know, I literally spent my day walking around in the malls, just looking at things, and you know, I was on holiday. So I go into the walk-in of this place where I was working at. So I'm smartly dressed, I'm wearing my high heels, of course I've done my makeup. You guys are seeing me right now without any makeup. Casual. I look nice. I look so good. I look good. I don't look better than this, but I look good. If that makes sense. So anyway, I put on my makeup, I wore my high heels, I got my bag, and off I went for the interview. Can you believe that I was there by 6? Like my friend told me, the interviews here are crazy. People come for the walk-ins, and there are thousands of people. And guess what? This had been the actual second time I've ever seen a multitude of people that much coming for a job interview. My first time was when I was auditioning for Qatar Airways. That's another story for another day. The things that God can pass us through or do, He is an amazing God. Anyway, so I get into this interview. This interview was actually happening at Emerald Square. There were so many people, so many people. I can't even, like in hundreds, like in thousands rather, thousands of people were out there waiting for the walk-in. Can you imagine, at 6 a.m. people were that many? Oh my goodness. And the beauty about, you know, walking around or being a celebrity, there were actually a number of Ugandans that had also been there already. So they called me. They're like, hey, Clay, Django. So I went and joined these girls. So we started to talk and laugh and all that as we waited for these people to open, to start their opening interviews, which were starting at 8. Can you believe? So I could say I was among like the first 300 people to get in for my work interview. So when I walk into my the walk-in interview, of course, you know, as they always say, tell me about yourself. So I started to tell them, you've probably met so many people, but I can tell you that I am unique. My talents are great. This is what I've been doing in my country, and this is how long this is what I've been hosting in my country. I've hosted for teens, I've hosted for kids, I've hosted for adults, and I have been on this radio show, I have been on this kind of newspaper article and all. And so everybody asks, so which country are you from? And I tell them I'm from the Pearl of Africa. Tell me, the Pearl of Africa? Where is that? I told them, what? You don't know where the Pearl of Africa is? So I asked them, is anyone here from Egypt? They said, oh, actually one of the interviewers was from Egypt. He said, I'm from Egypt. I said, do you know where the Pearl of Africa is? He said, no. I said, the Pearl of Africa gives you water. What country is that? So I started interviewing him. I'm not telling you to be nosy, but I'm telling you to come off very confident, relax, and know what you know. So anyway, I tell him I'm from Uganda. They say, oh, Uganda is a part of Africa? I said, yes. So there was also another African lady that was seated to me, and she said, I'm from the Pride of Africa. I said, oh, you're from Kenya? So we laughed about it. So anyway, here I was giving off my confidence and my positive vibes and all. So he next they asked me, do you have kids? I said, to be honest, I don't have kids, but I think kids love me. They say, kids love you. Why? Because I've been hosting to children and nobody has ever cried. And so they laughed at that. And of course, you know, when you're having an interview, it depends on the kind of interview that you're doing. Some interviews you need to be rigid, and other interviews you need to relax. Some others you need to show them empirical evidence of the statistics, and you know your thing. Anyway, mine was all about being relaxed and, you know, talking and being confident and showing them my personality in the best way that I could. So they asked me, is it okay with you if you sing and dance for us at the same time? I said, no problem. Guess what song I sang? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know, and you really want to show, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So now I was engaging them, and, you know, them laughing, and of course taking myself away from being nervous and being relaxed, and also, you know, entertaining them at the same time. So can you believe that I passed through that first interview? I was among the, I could say, first 300 to 500 people to go in for that interview, and they kept sieving us out. In a total, I went for about 7 interviews in 7 days, because every other day they would tell us, you know what, at the end of the day we'll send you an email if you pass through for the next interview. And so I kept going and kept going and kept going. But you know, of course, when I got home, my friend always told me, you know what, one of the things that we need to do right now, you have to go for as many interviews as you should. I told her, I feel this in my heart. I am going to get this job. I want to concentrate on this, and let's see how this will end by the end of the 2 weeks, and I still have more time. I was on a 3-month visa. So anyway, I have this hope and faith within me that this is going to work. This is going to go on just fine. So of course, by the end of the day, I managed to pass through the interview. Now, how did I feel when I passed through the interview? Of course, I was excited, but then again, I had mixed feelings. If you don't know, I am so attached to my mother that my mother and I would literally sit down and talk the entire day, and do it the next day, and do it the next day, and do it the next day. Because growing up, I used to report to my mother a lot. If anybody beat me in school, if anybody abused me, if anybody did anything to me, I would always tell my mother, because I would tell so many people, oh, can you believe so and so did this to me? But nobody ever did anything about it. But my mother said, I want to go to your school, I want to talk to that girl, I want to talk to the class monitor, I want to talk to the teacher. You know, she always did something about it. So even when something happened to my body, I communicated to her and told her, oh, this has happened. So you can see that our bond was very, very strong from the time I was growing up. So for me, leaving home was my greatest challenge. I thought about leaving my mother. I thought about leaving my siblings behind. I thought about so many things, and it felt like, okay, I am literally moving. So to some people, you may think about it and it's something very small, but thinking of leaving your family behind, actually, this is where I applaud everyone that is living in the diaspora. I really want to applaud you, because it's not easy. For as much as you have responsibilities, some people have left behind their husbands, their wives, their kids, their parents in trying situations. Like you leave behind your wife and she's very sick, your kids, or anybody else in that regard, but you have to go and make that sacrifice for them. And still, as you're trying to create your own life, you are creating your life but part of others. You know what I mean? Like you're working, but you have to send money to your family. You're working, you have to pay bills, you're working. So I really, really applaud everybody that is doing that. May God bless you and, you know, make your work easy. So yeah, here I am. I got the job, and you know, I'm just worried about leaving my mom and my siblings behind and all. But look, that was not the only challenge. You know it very well for a fact that you cannot visit somebody for too long. That's number one. You cannot be welcome for too long in anyone's home. That's number two. You feel, of course, if you are human enough, you feel you have to take on a responsibility in the home, or you know, you have to do something. Now imagine there are days when you wake up and you don't feel like doing dishes. There are days when you wake up and you feel like, I just cleaned that area, but you would detonate that area again. I know these things may seem small and may seem petty, but not until you have been there, then you can understand what I'm talking about exactly. My friend did not treat me in any way that I was not happy with. In fact, she treated me very, very well. We are still very good friends right now. She's currently in America and is coming to see me during her vacation. So you can know that, you know, our relationship was really good. However, as a person, right now, I have a job. I have to start planning on moving out and all. So it so happened that, okay, her spouse was coming in a month time, so I had to live outside of her home. I got a place before I got a job. I got a place, and I think I was paying about 500,000 Uganda shillings, which is about 500,000 Uganda shillings, which is about 500 and something dirhams. So I was living in, it's called a bed space. I was living in this bed space, but there was no one above me or no one below me, because guess what? This place also was new. It was a new area. The landlord had just got it, so he wanted tenants to come and live in. So I didn't have people above me, and then it was in a villa. A villa is more of the houses that you can see back home, and what they do, they usually partition them. But at that point, it was one big room I was living in by myself, as this landlord of mine was getting people. Now this was my challenge. I had to buy saucepans, I had to start cooking, I had to, you know, of course, all these things seem very, very minimal, but of course, if you are in that situation, it's not easy. So I had to look around for these areas of where I'm going to shop from. Of course, I got challenges of rotating around the same area. Of course, when you don't know the area and you're ignorant about it, I kept rotating around the same area as opposed to just going back. And when I would think about all these things later on, I'd be like, oh my God, that was such a challenge. So at the end of the day, I moved out and I started living life on my own, you know, and I knew what it meant to, you know, be in Dubai by yourself, missing my family, walking around, praying, talking to myself. All these were challenges. But usually people who come to Dubai face a bigger challenge, which I did realize later on. In most cases, people sell their land. Their parents sell their property, so that they can actually be able to bring somebody to Dubai. Somebody sells their car themselves and say, you know what, I'm going to go to Dubai and start a new life. So many people have so many different challenges that they have to go through, and they feel like, if I come to Dubai right now and I don't get a job, my life is finished. And you know, people don't post all those things when they're going through them. So what I want you to know is that it's not a smooth journey. Just you saying, Clay, I want to come to Dubai, I have the money. It's not about the money. It's not about the visa. Because look at this. First of all, when I know of so many people who have come to Dubai right now, they're looking for jobs, and most of them have actually acquired the jobs. But where the challenge is in being persistent. When you're coming to Dubai, I think there are 3 important things that you have to discover about yourself as a person. Number 1, you need to know your background. Know your background, that I have sold land. I cannot come to Dubai and fail to get a job. Number 2, know yourself. Know that my strength is in singing. My strength is in cooking. My strength, because I trust that if you know who you are, you will always do whatever you want. It will give you peace and it will pay you well. Know who you are, know your talents, know your qualifications, know yourself as a person. And I'm very fortunate because I went through a phase of actually knowing who I am, knowing what I want. I had to go through a process of not blaming myself for the things that had happened in the past, not regretting anything, just you need to know yourself. Because so many of you who come to my inbox and you're telling me, Clay, I'm going through this and this challenge, I want to move. No, those challenges are not going to make you move. Whatever you're saying is not going to make you move. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me. So whatever you're going through is not going to give you a better process when you come out here to Dubai. So you need to know yourself. And then the last thing, and the most important thing, you have to know what you've gone in for. If you say you have left Uganda, you have left Nairobi, you have left Kigali, and you've come to Dubai to look for a job, come and look for a job. Know what you're getting yourself into. Wake up in the morning. If you're supposed to go for walk-ins, go for walk-ins. Jobs are not going to find you. If you are supposed to apply, post your visa, rather, I keep saying visa, I think because I work with Get Quick International and at Get Quick Arabian Tours, we help you to get a visa to bring you to Dubai in a safe and transparent method. Yeah. So also, if you want a visa, I am your person. So anyway, you know, your what's it called? What were we talking about? People keep calling. We were talking about what should you know? Know your strength. Know your strength and know what you're going in for, and make sure that you actually do it. When you come to Dubai and you've come to look for a job, please stay away from your countrymates. Stay away from those Kenyans. Stay away from your Rwandan people. Stay away from everybody and just focus on you. Because what happens is, most people here come, you're from Burundi, you meet another person who is from Burundi, you become friends, and instead of going for a walk-in, you're lazy or you want to chill. Of course, if there's a job opportunity out there, you end up missing it. Leave everyone that is from your country and now move to the people that are from other countries. Because when you actually speak to people, when I took time talking to people, oh, where are you from? You want to get to know each other or to get comfortable in an area. People used to tell me things like, I can't afford to miss out on this interview tomorrow. Please, 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 wake me up, call me 1,000 times because my family is relying on this. My siblings are relying on this, So know what you're getting yourself into. Come in, all in, and do as you're supposed to do. So here I am, I get my job and I start working in Dubai. Of course, the rest is history, and the step of how I came to be in Get Quick International is also another story for another day. But I really want to tell you that not everything that is on social media is what it is. No, it's not. You have to know who you are, know your background, know what you're going in for, and go for it. There are so many jobs here in Dubai. Day in, day out, companies are opened. Day in, day out, people's contracts expire, and so they hire new people. Everything is always changing in Dubai. It is a beautiful city, and tourism is huge here. So they're always creating different things to keep the tourists, of course, attracted. I hope this can give you an insight on moving to Dubai. Of course, my story is different from everybody else's, and I want you to know that you are blessed wherever you are. It is all about you putting out the energy out there and the effort in order to achieve what it is exactly that you want to achieve. I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker right now, but I want you to know that the energy and the power that is going to bring out results in your life lies in you. Why do I keep saying to live is a blessing? Because today is better than yesterday and we don't know about tomorrow. So just being present for this moment is a blessing itself. To live is a blessing. Make good choices. Do not take advantage of others. And most importantly, love yourself. Love yourself so much so that you look out for yourself every day of your life. Okay? I hope this video helps. Let me know if you're planning on coming to Dubai. Write down in the comment section, let's talk. How can you get your visa? Where will you live? Your accommodation? Are you also planning to just visit Dubai? Yeah? Are you planning to just visit Dubai? Are you planning to relocate permanently? Do you want to set up a company in Dubai? Of course I have to give shout outs to my company, Get Quick International, where I work, because I'm using their space. I'm, using their equipment. So thank you so much, everybody, and do let me know. Yeah, let's share more. Until next time, bye.